Hey everybody, look who I got with me
Hey
tonight.
everyone.
Everybody
Oh,
say hi to Blues Girl. Been
hi
working real
everyone.
she's been working really hard on this case with me cuz she knows this case
I
like
love
the
Thelma Todd, yes.
right. And we came up with this idea together. I want to say November of last year
Yes, we did. Yes, we
to
did.
to do old Hollywood together and
And YouTube interrupted us. And now finally we are getting back around to it.
yes,
But
right?
this was our idea a long time ago to do this because we both love true crime in Hollywood.
Yep, we talked about this and we also talked about doing retro cases, unsolved cases from the way back when.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And so I'm really excited to do this because finally it's coming to fruition, something that we decided we had wanted to do almost a year ago.
Exactly.
Imagine that.
We were so excited about doing it and now
And YouTube interrupted. But now we are back in the game.
that's right, we are. Um, so we are going to discuss Miss Thelma Todd,
Yes. Thelma
Hollywood
Todd.
icon. She was what she was
She
called.
was funny.
Oh my gosh, she was hilarious. She was very versatile because she could do dramatic roles
Yes.
and basically she was like when she did comedy, she was the straight guy. You know what I'm saying? You
Yes,
know,
she was. She was a straight person, and she was so funny and ahead of her time. I mean, she paved the road for so many female comedians down the line. You
right?
know, she did. She was just fantastic, and she was so funny.
And imagine how hard that is to play the role of the straight person. You got your funny guy, and then you got your straight person that they play off of. Like, you think of comedy pairings like Laurel and Hardy,
Like Laura Hardy, yeah,
and
something like that.
also like remember Dean Martin and Jerry.
Jerry Lewis, yeah, something like that. Yeah, it was like a comedy duo like that. And
Yes.
she did it with several different people. She
Hmm.
started with Zazu Pitts, and
Hmm.
Zazu went on to do other things, and then she picked up Patsy Kelly, and then she worked with Laurel and Hardy, and she's just funny. I mean, if you watch Laurel and Hardy and you see like a
The
real blonde in there, that's
Yep,
probably Thelma Todd.
beautiful, beautiful lady,
Beautiful lady, yes, beautiful.
classy. Just
Very classy, very classy.
she was always the pin bob, um, gorgeous.
Mhm,
Hey,
mhm. I would
oh,
have loved to have her looks. Let me tell you.
she had the big eyes and the
Oh yeah, yeah. She was a looker.
oh
She's
hey
one of the original Hollywood blondes too.
oh yeah, she paved the way for like
Yeah,
Marilyn Monroe, uh, Jane
Jean
Mans.
Harlow, I think.
Yep,
Jane Mansfield. You know, because they all look back at her and her success as blonde. You know, and they're like, hey, we can do that too. You know,
and she was no
Hollywood liked them to do that for some
and sh-
reason.
she was no dumb blonde either. She did.
Mm-mm.
She was boom on it. She was yeah. Um,
Because one thing I liked about her, and you had mentioned this before, it to me when we were talking about the case, is the fact that Thelma Todd was smart enough to know that her looks would not last her forever. That her
uh-huh.
looks would only carry her for so long, and she needed to do something later on. And she did have contingency plans. What am I going to do when I am not young and pretty anymore? How am I going
Mhm.
to make money? So she started her own business. You know, so I mean, she was very smart. She was not a stupid woman.
No, she invested her money. She was
Right.
smart. I mean,
Very smart.
imagine the fact that blows me away is she didn't start her career until what 1926 technically,
Right.
and so from the age of 20 to 29, she like was in 120 films. I mean, come on.
Right. I mean, that. And they did a lot more films back then because they did a lot of shorts. If you think about a lot
Exactly.
of those like Laurel and Hardy movies, I mean, they were not full length movies. They were these little shorts,
Yeah,
and
like
sometimes they were played between full length movies in the theater, right?
exactly. I can remember going to like drive-in movies. When you go to a drive-in movie back in the day, you always played something, usually Laurel and Hardy
Yeah,
or Thelma Todd and Zazu Pitts.
Pitts or Patsy Kelly or something
Yes.
like that. And they had these little comedy shorts that were maybe like 17, 20 minutes long, and they played
Hmm.
it before the movie or something like that. Then there was an intermission because they wanted you to buy more junk to eat. And then you came and watched the movie, right?
Right.
And so because she made a lot of those comedy shorts, I
Hmm.
mean, they were made in a shorter period of time, so she did rack up a lot of things. So it's not like the full length 2 hour movies we have today. She was in a
Yep.
lot of those comedy shorts that they made back then, but they were funny. She was good.
Oh my God, yes. It's like, what was it? Oh yeah. It's like she didn't even think that she wanted to be a movie star or a.
Nope,
Nope.
nope, nope.
She went to college to become a teacher.
Yes, she wanted to become a teacher,
That
but
was
in her, I think it was in her first year, she entered. She was doing some model. No, wait, she entered the pageant first.
Yes, she was Miss Massachusetts
Massachusetts, right?
1925, I think.
Yeah. And then she did some modeling in a theater, and somebody noticed her there and sent her picture to Paramount, and Paramount got interested in her. And that's how her film career started. It was not anything like she went to Hollywood and wanted to be an actress. She
No,
was,
she
no, they noticed
fell.
her and
Yep,
came to her. Yeah.
she kind of fell into it, really.
Right, exactly, exactly. And then Paramount sent her off to a little training school, and then she went out to LA after that,
Hmm.
and she started doing work for Hal Roach in the studios, I think. Well,
Yep,
I don't know. No, no, she did all those horror things with Paramount, and then she got picked up by Hal Roach
yep.
because her first few movies that she were in were kind of like bombs,
Hmm.
and then she went to they were these like B movie horror things, and then she went to Hal Roach Studios and started doing all of the comedy shorts with people like Zazu and Laurel Hardy and things like that.
Hey, Larry, how you doing?
Hey, Larry.
Hi, Donnie, Texas, Mark,
Hey,
71.
Texas. Hey, 71.
Good to see you all.
Yes, it's so nice y'all came to hear us talk about Thelma today.
Right? And this is the only drama we're really talking about. Good
That's
drama.
right, and that's all the drama you're going to get. So if you're here for anything else, you can leave.
Hmm. Right? But
Right?
she was like in, let's see, she was in Marx Brothers Monkey Business. And,
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Independent of Hal Roach, she did those Marx
yep.
Brother movies,
And,
Monkey Business and Horse Feathers.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so she
And
even worked with the Marx Brothers.
yeah, she worked with the Marx Brothers, Laurel and Hardy, Buster Keaton,
Yeah, Buster Keaton. She did that one movie, one or two movies with him.
and
Um,
Jimmy Durante. Yep.
Jimmy Durante, yeah, because he was in with Hal Roach too, and so was Buster
Yep.
Keaton. See, Hal Roach put out a ton of funny people.
Oh, yeah.
So she got to work and was affiliated with all those people because of that. And if you think about it, she was only 29 when she died. She
Hmm.
packed all of this into just a few years.
Hmm. And she did what, 17 shorts with Zazu,
Yes,
and she did 21 with Patsy Kelly.
with Patsy Kelly, yeah.
Oh
Hmm.
my God.
Yeah, yeah,
But,
yeah.
and then she was in Corsair. Remember
Yeah,
that
that's
night?
the one she was with Chester Morris.
Yeah. Oh, was that the one that Cary Grant was in? The first Cary Grant appearance?
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know. That I don't know. I'd have to look that up.
But I know that she was in his first movie that he was
Oh,
in.
cool.
And that was what Corsair was, where she met Roland West.
Yeah, that's where she met Roland West. Co-star, I don't know if that turned out to be a good movie for her because
It
that's where
actually
she met
was.
Roland West, and he has maybe a hand in her demise. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
possibly.
possibly. Yeah.
And
So
he was a married film director at the time.
yes, yes. You always think about the 30s and stuff as like that era of Hollywood was so clean cut, but let me tell you, they were not so clean cut. So like Roland West, he was married to Jewel Carmen, who was a 20s silent film star,
Hmm. You,
but he was having an affair and living with Thelma Todd.
yeah,
And Jewel Carmen was living in a house up the hill, and she didn't give a flip. So I don't
no,
know what they were all doing, but it was a messed up situation. See, the one thing about Thelma that I think was her downfall, she liked to live fast, and not by drugs, but I mean,
mhm.
she ran around with
Edgy
she ran
character.
around with edgy characters. She liked to drive fast cars. She liked the thrill of whatever, you know. I mean, and a lot of that led to her demise, you know.
Yeah, like let's see, she ran around with like Lucky Luciano.
Lucky Luciano, uh, and she married Pat Chico, who was with Lucky Luciano. So I think she liked the thrill of these edgy kind of guys and
Right, the
like to drive
danger.
fast cars, the danger and stuff like that. And that kind of led to her demise a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Mark says clean cut guys are sus. Well, I guess to her
Right.
they were because she liked the whole idea. I think, I mean, that's my personal opinion. Is she liked, you know, the whole thrill of like, hey, I'm hanging out with the gangsters and stuff like that. But you know what? It's the gangsters that probably caused her death,
No joke.
or it could. So you know what? The gangsters are not like cool to hang around with, you know. So
Keep talking because I'm gonna try to pull up some stuff.
okay, you try to pull up some stuff. Try to pull up some of that research we did. Okay, so we're just not talking the whole time.
Right?
But yeah, Ginger and I actually did research for this, you guys. I know you should be impressed, but um, I love the whole old Hollywood stuff, and I would have been around for more of Ginger's, but I haven't been feeling well. And but Thelma, I absolutely love because she's just so funny and so ahead of her time. She just paved the way for so many female comedians down the road, you know. Because to this point in movies, females were usually used as the wife, or they were used, I mean, they'd make fun of them or something, but they weren't the ones actually making the comedy. They were maybe the butt of jokes, but they weren't making the comedy. And Thelma was one of the few ones who actually went out and, like, she made the comedy herself. So she
Yeah.
paved the road. Always be suspicious of clean cut guys who don't drink or smoke. Larry.
Right? Oh,
All right, I'll keep that in mind, Larry. Thanks.
first thing we're gonna show is Blues pulled together an awesome like homage to her career, to Thelma Todd. So we're gonna see if we can pull that up.
All right. And I'm gonna mute while you do that. So I don't
Ac-
want to cough or anything during it, you know. Come on, Ginger. I know you can find it.
I know, I know. It's just getting it to upload.
Oh, okay.
Open it. Yes.
Open, yes.
Open it.
Well, I hear it. Oh yeah, there it is. I hear it, but I don't see it.
Oh, hold on.
You didn't share your screen.
It won't show? Mm.
I don't see it. Did you share your screen?
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, we hear the music. Video settings.
Please pardon our novice learning curve here.
Technical difficulties.
Please stand by.
Stand by while the idiot figures this out.
There's a learning curve going on here.
Now, why won't it let me share? Ginger.
Ginger, if I made this video for nothing, I'm gonna come and brain you.
Let's see if it pops up in here. Oh, it didn't pop up in my video library. That's why.
Oh, well, that might explain it, yeah.
Okay, here we go.
I don't see it.
Is it showing at all?
I don't see it. I just see your download list. I hear music. I don't see it.
I probably hit it on the wrong thing. Dang peoples. Okay, sorry.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Yes, please thumbs up, like, and subscribe our technical issues. We would appreciate that. Thank you. It'll make us feel better. Oh my god. And I'm not the person who'll know because I don't do live, so I have no idea how to do this.
I know, right? Well, it's experimentation here.
Well, I see your download screen, but I don't see anything else. When you start it, it doesn't come up.
Okay, hold on. That's because I have it on mini. Let's see. Back to this. Oh, I see what you're seeing.
Yeah, I see that screen. I don't see anything else. Now we're gone.
We'll get this figured out.
Maybe we should have tried this out beforehand. We didn't think about
Right?
that.
That's okay. Well,
That's all right because I know your subscribers don't mind like going through this with us.
that's right, because they love us.
Oh, we didn't iron it out beforehand.
Right? We thought we had the kinks out.
We're so busy researching, we didn't think about how to put the research up on the StreamYard.
Oh, that's okay. Hold on. Okay, let's try that.
Oh, there it is.
That covers that up. Back where you belong. Well, I guess that's it. Come on, let's get going. Come on, help me shut this thing. Oh, that's Kelly. Always helping. Studio calling. Well, it must be. Answer it. Oh, do you think so? Of course. Answer it. Oh, now. Oh, I'm caught. Oh, I have to get the key. The key. Where's the key? Oh, just
I've got it all set for you to make the test.
Huh?
Yeah. For the lead in the heartbeat.
Uh-huh. Uh-uh. Hey, what is it? Oh, Patsy, it's the studio. I'm going to do the test. Oh. Yes, hurry up and get the dress off me.
Right.
Oh, yes. Come on, now that will help there.
Come right over, kid.
Just a minute, there's something going off here. Come on. That's it. Oh. Yes, I'll be right over, yes. Oh, Patsy, get me something out of there quick, will you?
Pardon me, but could you spare me a moment of your time?
Why, certainly, officer.
What's the name?
Thelma Todd,
What's the address?
1222 Kosciuszko.
Are you trying to hog the whole street? Why, this little old car is such an insignificant... It's a cheesy little thing, that's what it is. Why, it's people like you that make taxes go up. And more hospitals. More policemen. Say, is that Palooka trying to flirt with me?
Why, I beg your pardon, officer. Do you happen to know who this Palooka is? My name is Miss... Her father is the lieutenant of police.
Not Lieutenant Finnegan.
Yes. This is Miss Lazu Finnegan.
Well. Why, Miss Finnegan, your pappy and I are just as thick as that.
I bet you're the thickest of the two.
Sure. But where were you going to? A fire?
Why, no, we're going for that bargain sale.
Come on, open your eyes.
Oh, look. By the way, how's your mother?
Oh, she's just fine, thank you.
That's fine. There's not...
Hey, why? Oh!
Hey, what's the big idea? What are you trying to be around for?
Oh, I just love you.
Oliver, darling.
Hello, honey.
I just dropped in there to tell you I'm giving a dinner party tonight at 7. I invited the judge and his wife and all those people that will be so helpful to you in your campaign.
Well, you won't be able to go.
You won't be able to go.
He means, dear, that we were working late tonight, and well, I'll be right there.
And how is Mrs. Laurel?
Oh, fine, thank you.
I'd love to meet her sometime.
Neither do I, too. Now, sweetheart, if you'll come, I'll open the door for you.
Why, Oliver.
Merry Christmas, sweetheart.
Christmas? But, Oliver, it's only July.
Oh, I know it. It's one of the planks of my platform. Do your Christmas shopping early.
Just the same little apple-cheeked boy. Oh, isn't that beautiful? I must see how it looks.
Oh.
Where's the key?
Yes, where is the key? Oh.
There it is.
So it is.
Oh, isn't it beautiful?
Yes, it is lovely, darling.
Oh, Oliver, you're
Why,
such
sure.
a darling. Oh, isn't that...
Now, dear, if you'll just go, it's pretty, very pretty. You just run right along.
Goodbye, Daddy, and don't forget 7.
I won't, dear. Goodbye.
Say, what's the big idea?
All your life, you've simply had to reach out for what you wanted, and you got it. And now you're reaching out for me. But I don't think I'd marry you if you were the last woman on earth.
I'm sorry, John, because I do love you.
Yeah? And when did you first discover this great love for me?
The first moment I set eyes on you.
Do you expect me to believe that?
Yes, John. Oh, I love you so much.
Awesome. Good job, Blair.
Oh, thank you. I enjoyed looking for the clips. It was kind of fun, but yeah, thank you.
Phenomenal job there. Really.
Thank you. Thank you.
I mean, but, you know, he deserves it, though.
She does, and I thought that it would be a way to put like a face on her. She
Yeah.
wouldn't be just a picture, you know. People could see what she actually did. Thank you. And so people could see what she actually did and see that she was funny. And she had that wry, dry humor because she was the straight person.
Yep.
And then she had that tragic ending in the garage, which we're going to get to.
Oh, yeah. Why don't you go ahead and get into... We'll get into that.
Yes.
Oh.
Do you want to give the overview of that night? I'll let you do that part.
Well,
you know it? Yeah, go ahead and do that.
Basically, December... Wait. Why did they say December 16th was her date of death? Because she didn't die on the 16th, did she?
Well, that's up for grabs. But
yeah,
yeah, that's when she was found. So that would be like the night before. Yeah. Well, anyway, just go ahead with what you're doing. We'll correct the dates.
Yeah, we'll figure out the dates.
We'll figure it out later on, okay?
So basically, from what I gathered, she went to a dinner party, was it?
Yeah, she was a dinner party.
Was that on Saturday night?
On Saturday night, she went to a dinner party. Larry, she would have been like a Marilyn Monroe of her day.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Exactly. So she went to this dinner party where they had a light meal, and all the witnesses said she only had 2 glasses of champagne. So
they say that, but
yeah. So that's gonna go. That's a key factor in this later on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Sunday, from what I gathered, she was supposed to work in her cafe, the Sidewalk Cafe, from 2 p.m. to like 10 p.m.
Yeah, hold it. Maybe we should explain that. She owned the Sidewalk Cafe, and this was the business that she bought and invested in for her future when she no longer could make movies as a young pretty actress or whatever, and this was going to be her future. Okay,
E-
go ahead.
Exactly. So she invested in this. It was a passion for her, wasn't it? Because
Yeah, she liked it. She really enjoyed it.
and she was due to work there from 2 to 10. Okay, and nobody at the restaurant reported her like missing, which is
Nope.
odd because she was known to be at her appointments on time.
Yeah.
Uh, and she was not one to shirk off work at all. She was very
No. No.
no, she was a
No.
dedicated, she didn't yeah, she worked on films like Monday through Friday, right? And then on the weekends, she was dedicated to working at her
Cafe.
cafe and in the evenings after working too.
Right. 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 Because she'd see like the cafe was a strange place. It there was a couple floors, right, and the bottom floor was more like a sandwich shop, and stuff like that. And then the second floor was more like of a high rent restaurant. And
Mhm.
she just like mingling with the people. Maybe they saw, ooh, there's Thelma Todd. Like,
Yeah,
ooh, you
basically,
know,
she
because
act
she was like a comedic Marilyn Monroe of her day. I mean, she was that popular. If she showed her face anywhere, they knew, oh, there's Thelma Todd, right?
Larry's got
So
a Larry's got a good question. Who would be
yeah,
her
who would a modern day equivalent actress of her stature? See, I don't really follow like comedians today, so
let's
I don't know. She was
maybe
as popular as Marilyn, I can tell you that.
okay, like as in comedic actors, maybe
Actresses.
yeah.
Um,
Let's think maybe someone like who's in films a lot now.
she was in
McCarthy?
like Roseanne in her day, or I don't know. No, she's only TV though.
Okay, how about what's her name? McCarthy.
Jenny McCarthy?
No, not Jenny, her cousin.
Okay, I say she's way popular than her. More popular
No
than
joke. Uh,
her.
no, I was thinking of is it Kathy McCarthy?
Well, I don't know. See, I'm really bad about this. I don't follow like current
Because
people, but
she's in a whole bunch of movies. She does serious roles too, you know.
mhm. I
So
just know that she was equally as popular as like Marilyn Monroe was in her day,
exactly.
and she was just, she was just the it girl. I mean,
Okay,
she'd
here
be like Kim Kardashian walking down the street, you would know it was her. I mean, or Marilyn walking down the street, you would know it was her.
or I think of her in terms of somebody not like Angelina Jolie, but Jennifer Aniston would be a good example.
Yeah, she was like Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, pretty
Yep,
much
yep.
like her.
Because she was on all the tabloids too, just like Jennifer Aniston
Yeah,
and Brad Pitt, right?
yeah, right. Oh my
Because she was
god.
everywhere. Every magazine wanted to interview her. Every fashion magazine wanted her on the front cover. If they would have had TV back then, she would have been doing interviews. I
And
mean,
she was
she
oh
was
my
just the it person. She was on every magazine. Everyone knew who she was. She couldn't go anywhere without being recognized. Okay, so anyway, go back. You want to go back to that night?
oh, okay. Anyway, a driver picked her up, right? Because she didn't drive.
Okay,
The studio had a driver assigned to her, right?
right. And she did have someone that drove her home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she had a driver. And the reason why, I'll fill this in really quick. The reason why she did not drive is because Thelma Todd was a bit of a James Dean, okay? She liked to drive fast cars and she liked to drive them fast.
Let
And she had crashed at some point and
mhm.
she had hit a tree and she was seriously injured. She did recover from her injuries, but it took so long and the studio got hacked because, I mean, like, because of her recklessness, it put them behind because, that's how the studios are, that with her, it's just she put us behind now. So from then on, the studio said she had to have a driver and she was assigned a driver.
And he supposedly dropped her off after one. Now, some accounts say one, some say 2:30 a.m.
I I read too that was like as late as 4 o'clock.
Wow. See,
Yeah, in
so many.
in that. In the Fixer's book, I think they said as late as 4, but I don't know. She got dropped off really late.
And I tend to believe that
Mm-hmm.
source. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, because not everybody gave details, or
Right.
yeah, not everybody was this forthcoming. So basically, didn't they say he dropped her off in front of the cafe because she lived in an
Yes.
apartment?
Dropped off in front of the cafe, and she lived upstairs. Upstairs from the
Actually,
cafe. Do you got a picture of the
I
cafe? Put it up so they can see what we're
ac-
talking about.
actually I'll show that walkthrough real quick because it shows us the walk. What
Yeah,
happened
show
is,
a walkthrough so they can understand it.
um, there's a guy who does videos of walkthroughs of places like death scenes and stuff like that on YouTube, and let me see.
Yeah, because if you see what this place looked like, it'll give you a better picture of like what she did that night.
Let
Because
me
it has a
see.
funny layout.
Oh, here we go. Tell me if it shows up. Now, hold on. I'll have to do it this way. I'll do it the other way. I'll close this
Hey,
out.
Captain. Okay.
I'll close that out and I'll. Oh, that's why. I could show pictures, but this will show the whole, like, basic walk she took.
Oh yeah, that one overview one. Yeah.
Yeah. There. Oh,
Ginger, we're gonna have a dress rehearsal next time.
I know. I know, right? Okay. Here we go again. I could show the pictures, but this is a broad walkthrough. Let's see. Keep talking.
Well, I feel like we need one of those 1950s screens that says "Please stand by."
Right?
Technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Oh, there we go. We'll just open a new tab, sons of guns.
There's
I
a
had it.
learning curve here tonight. Sorry.
Yeah, right? Ginger ain't got her shit together.
Well, that's what you get for babysitting your grandchild all weekend. What were you thinking?
Oh my god. And he's still here. Oh, and
Is
then,
he still there? Oh,
well, I had my granddaughter all weekend, and then she went to Rainbow Girls today, and they dropped my grandson off instead. And I'm like, wait, at the last minute, I'm like, wait a minute, I got stuff to do today.
You're just a revolving door there.
Oh gosh, yes. Well, that's how it goes when you're a grandparent.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Let me think. Gee, I just look at so much crap. It was such a good video playthrough too. That's why I was like, "Oh, I got to show this." Here we go. Okay, is it showing?
I don't see nothing. I see us.
Okay, then this is what I'll do.
Oh no, that's the video.
Yeah, right. It's the wrong one, Ginger. There we
We
go.
already saw that.
We already saw that.
It's the wrong one.
Okay, there we go. Share screen. And I'm going to choose the tab. And there we go. And share it.
Oh, here we go.
I muted the sound
Oh,
because
yeah.
the guy
Okay,
just
perfect.
he just talks through it, and it's showing that is the Sidewalk Cafe.
That's the sidewalk cafe.
Maybe I should fast forward it.
As he get closer, I hope.
Like he talks basically in it, shows that it's across from the ocean,
Yeah, it's right across the street from the ocean.
like Pacific, the Pacific.
The night, and it took a whole day.
The Pacific, yeah. The Pacific Ocean.
There we go.
I've heard people say that.
The-
Okay, that part upstairs, that's where she lived. In that little pointy kind of top part, that's where her apartment was.
Yep. The living
And then
quarters.
the downstairs part, yeah. Where those half moon
different-
windows were was the small cafe, and then where those long rectangular windows were, that was the upstairs fancier restaurant. And there at the top where the little pointy thing was. Does he show the stairs aren't there anymore.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
the
they are. They're on
stairs.
the right. Yeah, they're on the
Some
right.
of us-
They're on the right side, yeah.
You're showing how you get over. Let's see. I would love to speed this up.
Oh wait, here he goes. Here he goes. All right, that bridge. Okay, and then at the other side of the bridge is like where the stairs were. Because it was an insane amount of stairs. It was like 271 stairs to get up by her garage.
It was insane.
Yeah, I wouldn't have walked it sober. Let
See where
alone
the
having
arch?
drinks at a party.
No joke. And where that arch is like kind of the courtyard or area to get
Right.
up to her house or her apartment.
Exactly.
It was, I mean, it's a kind of unique setup, really. Yep.
Yeah. Is he gonna do it? Is he gonna walk it?
Yep. He walks the whole walk. So imagine being in
Oh.
heels. But she didn't get dropped off on this side of the road.
Yeah, and she's wearing like heels. She
Yeah,
got dropped
right?
off over there. Yeah.
And an evening gown.
Okay. And an evening
you
gown. Yeah, get to the
Okay.
steps.
There
All right,
we
here
go.
we go. Now he's walking. All right, so he's going across the bridge now. Aw, Ginger, you got ads.
It's a professional job here.
God, what next?
There we
No,
go. It
this is-
shows
yeah,
how
comedic job.
she would
Okay.
have went. She would have went. Yeah.
That's how she would have gotten into her apartment, right through there.
That gray door there.
Because that little
That blue one.
screen, that grate wasn't there back then.
Yep.
Yeah, blue door was the door to her apartment.
She would have come up from the other side. It'll show in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But look at all those steps in heels.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
not.
That's
No
where she would
way.
have came up. Now she would be climbing up these because she couldn't get in the door. Because she had one key, but she didn't have the deadbolt key. Supposedly.
Right.
That's one set of steps.
Well, I think that's on.
That's the first set of steps that they're showing.
No, this is at the top of the steps now.
Yep.
Mhm.
That's, yep.
Those are all the steps she had to go up. Now he's at the top of the steps. He's going toward the garage.
Yep. Look
This is
at
the
this.
back. On the left is the back of the cafe.
Yep.
Okay, that's how you got into the cafe from the back.
And that shows her, like, her steps from there, right? Her
Yep.
apartment.
And now he's walking toward the garage where she was found.
Oh, no. There's more steps.
No, there's not.
Yeah, there is. You'll love this.
Is there?
Oh,
I thought it was on the street.
Oh, it is, but it's further
Yeah,
up.
he's all the way. Oh.
There was
oh.
this street was, I don't know if it was there at that point or not, but there's more steps. See them?
Oh.
Straight across, more steps.
Oh, good lord.
That's why. Okay.
I wouldn't be walking up that in no heels.
Oh, there's even more.
Oh, no, not in heels.
Those steps. Oh, you'll love this.
Oh, no, not
And
in heels.
That's the gas lamp from back then too.
What?
And they said that these steps were not concrete back then. They were
No, they were not.
They were wood.
They were wood.
And now he's at the top of that flight. Okay?
So that's
Still
two
looking.
flights of steps.
Yep. Oh, one more. Oh, there's more.
Because you got to remember that night after she's at a party and she's drinking and half drunk, she's supposed to have walked up all these steps, okay?
In an evening gown.
In an evening gown.
And heels. Yep. With no rips in her evening gown either.
Oh, I know.
I couldn't walk up this. I couldn't
I
walk up
couldn't
it
do
sober.
it. I couldn't do it.
I couldn't
Right.
walk up it sober. No, get this. Look at this. More steps. There's
I...
an old-fashioned call box for the police and the gas pole. More steps.
Oh, my God.
Oh, but guess
Oh,
what?
heck no. I would have to have runners on to do this.
But guess what? They're caved in. They don't see that fence up there. That's
Mhm.
basic. That's basically to the next street, and that's where the house is.
Where the garage was?
Yep.
Oh, my gosh. She did not do all that.
Right? Imagine that. Oh,
Not in that dress.
So he had to find an alternate route to get up there. And it'll show it here in a minute. Can you imagine going up these steps in an evening gown? And it was what? Like satin? Silk?
Yeah, silky satin evening gown and heels. I couldn't do it sober, and she had all those drinks at the party.
I couldn't do it sober with tennis shoes on. Without tripping. Now,
All right.
Now we're on
this
the
is
street.
the street where the garage is. This is the garage where she was found.
I'm going to slow it down now. So basically, yeah, this is the garage. And then above is an apartment where the manager lived of
The manager of the restaurant.
and he was also the brother of Jewel Carmen.
Right.
Now up above that is the house. Jewel Carmen's house.
Right.
They're like, oops.
This strange group of people all live together.
Yeah. And it's crazy because there's a house up there above that garage. And it's a mansion
Right.
that Jewel Carmen owned with her husband.
Who was sleeping with Thelma Todd.
Yeah. But he was...
And nobody cared. Everyone was cool with this.
Yeah, exactly. It was like I guess you could say an open relationship.
Yep. I guess it was because Jewel Carmen was cool with it. I don't know.
See that house up there? Yeah.
Yeah, that was her. Jewel Carmen. Yeah.
that was her and Roland's house together.
Except Roland was nesting down below with Thelma.
Yeah. And he probably made trips back and forth. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But her mother lived there with her. Like, Jewel.
No,
Yeah, Jewel Carmen.
oh, Jewel Carmen's, yeah.
Jeez. And this is showing an alternate route. But still, you can see that. Now imagine all that walking in heels.
I think not. In heels after you've been at a party till like 2, 4 a.m. and you've been drinking, forget it.
You know,
I couldn't have done that even in my 20s. Forget it.
Oh, hell no.
No.
There's no way. That's why a lot of this doesn't add up.
But, then again, the only other possibility is that sometimes when you drink and you drink too much and you get these stupid ideas in your head. But I still don't think she did all this. But yeah, that's all she had to do. She's supposed to walk all the way up there. The official version is she walked all the way up there to that garage herself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she was cold. Did they say she was cold or something? And she started her car.
Yeah.
And then she passed out from drinking and ended up with carbon monoxide poisoning. That's the quote, extreme air quote, official version.
Right.
Was that she got cold or something and she started her car and then she passed out because she had drank too much, but her car was still running and the door was still closed. Yeah. And she was overcome by carbon monoxide poisoning and she died. So that is the quote unquote, air quote, police version of what happened.
Yeah. And originally, didn't they say, originally it was a suicide, and then they ruled it an accident.
Yeah.
And then finally another ruling,
Right. Well, I think they wanted to say it was a suicide, and her mother was like, "Oh no, I think not." No. And then they changed it to accidental, and then just kind of left it open like that. So it was like an accidental death with like open-ended and all this other kind of stuff. But I mean, there was a lot of things going on in her life at the time, and there were some factors with her autopsy that were a problem. And if I can find my notes on that, I can read it.
Yeah, right.
Hold on. You get to talk for a minute while I find my notes.
Right.
Now it's your turn to talk.
You can see why this is like a mysterious death that we're talking about. That there's no way that she now, after seeing those flights of stairs, even more so in your mind, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not realistic. I mean, people say she went upstairs, but you don't realize in California with all those hills and stuff like that, it's not just a few stairs, right? It's like more than that. All right, autopsy. Come on, you can find it.
There's my bones, my lovely bones. Oh my gosh. So, oh God, I tell you what, there is, I thought, well, it was questionable before, but when I saw that video of all the steps, I was like, hell no. My ass would be banging on that door till he got out of bed and answered it.
Well, he wasn't going to do it, though, because he was mad she stayed out late.
Yeah, right?
Mm-hmm.
Little bit of a control freak there.
Yeah, slightly. Yeah. Oh, God, I can't find it. Hold on. Keep talking, Ginger.
I am happy you made alive too, Bones. Put there in the car. Yeah, we're going to get to that. Here's the thing. When they discovered her Monday, it was her maid that discovered her. Because Monday through Friday, Basically, part of the maid's job was to go and collect the car at like, I think 8 or 9 a.m. I think it was 8 a.m. Uh, Warm up the car and bring it down to the front of the cafe. And you can see why you'd want someone to bring it down to the front of the cafe. Because if she had a maid climbing all those steps to bring her car down, why in the hell would she climb those steps in heels? You know? But the maid went up there and supposedly found the garage door slightly open, which doesn't make sense if it's carbon monoxide poisoning.
Right.
And then she found her, and the car was facing in, wasn't it, when she was found?
Mm-hmm.
Like driven.
No, when she, yeah, it was, well, no, the headlights were facing the door. The headlights were facing the door, so it was backed in.
So it was backed in. So the car was parked with its rear towards the back wall. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when the maid came in, she saw her, like, slumped over. But from all the reports I heard, she was not even, she was on the bench seat, but she was in towards the middle of the bench seat. Not
Right.
like, not even in front of the steering wheel. That comes into play here.
Right.
Hey,
If only I could find my notes.
Dave. Yeah, so she was slumped over like that with blood trickling out of her nose and a split lip, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you're gonna, what you read to me earlier, I was like, holy cow.
I know, I can find it.
She's gathering it, folks. She's got it together as well as I do.
Yeah, I know. We need a
But,
serious dress rehearsal next time.
Right? No, but hey, trial and error.
Yep.
Exactly, Bones. Very suspicious. Because basically, when they called the authorities, it was a debacle when they called the authorities. Let's just say that. Yeah, Blues Girl. You know what? While you're doing that, I'm gonna play. I am gonna play your video again. Will that work?
All right. Yes, sir.
Yeah, because a lot of people have come in since then.
Okay, that'll give me time to find it.
That covers that up. Back where you belong. Well, I guess that's it. Come on, let's get going. Come on, help me shut this thing. Oh, that's Kelly. Always helping. Studio calling. Well, it must be. Answer it. Oh, do you think so? Of course. Answer it. Oh, now. Oh, I'm caught. Oh, I can get the key. Key. Where's the key? Oh, go on, answer it, though. What I key. Come on, answer it. Come on, Sarah. Come on, answer it. Come on.
Hello, kid. Listen, I've got it all set for you to make the test.
Huh?
Yeah. For the lead in the hot seat.
Uh-huh. Hey, what is it? Oh, Patsy's the studio. I'm going to do the test. Oh. Hurry up and get the dress off me. What? Oh, yes. Come on, now, little help there.
Come right over, kid.
Come on. Just a minute. There's something going off here. Come on. Answer. Oh. Yes, I'll be right over. Yes. Oh, Patsy, get me something out of there quick, will you?
Pardon me, but could you spare me a moment of your time?
Why, certainly, officer.
What's the name?
Thelma Todd,
What's the address?
1222 Kosciuszko.
Ah,
Are you trying to hog the whole street? Why, this little old car is such
I'm
an
still on my live.
It's
I'm
a
just
cheap
muted
little
right now.
thing, that's what it is. Why, it's people like you that make taxes go up. And more hospitals. More policemen. Say, is that Palooka trying to flirt with me?
That's me trying to flirt with someone.
Why, I beg your pardon, officer. Do you happen to know who this Palooka is?
what?
My name is... Her father is the lieutenant of police.
You can
Not
try to
Lieutenant
keep it
Finnegan.
quiet.
Yes.
Talk.
This is Miss Lazu Finnegan.
Well.
Okay, go ahead.
Why, Miss Finnegan, your pappy and I are just as thick as that.
Did you find it?
I found it.
Okay, you know what? We'll just play this in the background while you talk.
Okay. All right. So, okay. I have this book and it's called The Fixers and it's about Eddie Mannix. He was a fixer for MGM. And it has a section about Thelma Todd, so I was going to read a little bit about the autopsy and the police. And it says, the police behaved strangely from the moment they descended upon the garage. Strangely, the chief detective, Bert Wallace, and chief medical examiner, A.F. Wagner, both came personally involved, which was unusual for a high-profile death. So in other words, they both came to the scene, which was unusual for even high-profile death. They ordered the police out of the garage. They spent an hour investigating the crime scene alone and then emerged to tell the crowd that Todd had died from carbon monoxide poisoning. How amazing! They figured that out without any tests. According to Wagner, when West locked her out after a quarrel, she walked up the 270 steps of the hill, climbed into a running car, passed out, and died. But then the reporters asked about the visible injuries in her blood-soaked body. Wallace suggested she broke her nose and tooth by hitting the steering wheel during her death throes. The broken piece of tooth, of course, was never found after an exhaustive search of the car. Wagner would later suggest that she broke two ribs the same way. The curious explanation for the bruises on Todd's throat and neck, well, he said they were caused by post-mortem lividity. I know. Such a determination is not supported by medical fact. It's also inexplicably placed. Oh, he also inexplicably placed the time of death at 2 a.m. Sunday morning, more than 36 hours before. But Todd's body was just starting to show signs of rigor mortis when the police arrived.
So
She had been dead.
Probably, honestly, about 5 or 6 hours then.
She had been dead for no more than 5 or 6 hours. She was not killed Saturday night. She was killed Sunday night. Mm-hmm. So Wagner's comments make 0 sense. And then after that, because we have to absolutely act like police are bungling everything up or coroners bungling everything up, Wallace and Wagner then let photographers enter the garage and pose for pictures with Todd's body. How sick is this, folks? All right? Yeah, it's posed for pictures with the dead actress's body. Right. So for over an hour, the crime scene was trampled by photographers and reporters. Beauty. The death certificate indicated death due to carbon monoxide poisoning, but made no mention of the numerous physical injuries. Of course not, because MGM had to cover this up. So there's dozens of problems with the official version. Todd was legally drunk, but they said her blood alcohol was only 0.13, which is barely above the legal limit. That would not have been enough for her to pass out. Okay. So when they did her blood alcohol, it was 0.13, and they said that's not enough for her to pass out. Okay. She could not have climbed.
Plus,
Yes.
if you think about it, if she died 6 hours before, some of that would have been decomp. So go on.
Right. She would not have climbed up the steep concrete stairwell, a difficult and tiring trek in the dark and the cold. And in the unlikely event she had, her shoes would have been all scuffed up. I'd say so. But
Hmm.
her shoes were pristine at the bottom. Who
No,
climbs up all those stairs and the bottom of your shoes are clean with no scratches? Unless you take them off.
all the steps that we just showed you.
Yes, unless you take them off. I mean, she could have, but it was cold out. I don't know. And also, why would she sleep in her car? She could have driven somewhere else to sleep or woken her accountant who lived above the garage or something like that, you know?
Uh huh.
So it was clear to a lot of people that she was probably beaten to death and placed in the car.
Plus, she had a residence where her mother lived down the street.
Right, she could have driven down there, you
She
know?
could have.
So why would she say, oh, well, I'm just going to sleep in my car tonight, you know?
Yeah, right.
No. Or it could, and she didn't have enough alcohol. She was drunk, but not enough to the point where she would pass out. So, I mean, she was intoxicated, I should say, but not enough to the point she would actually pass out.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's not going to pass out in her car.
Welsh has a good question. Welsh is like,
Yeah.
why isn't there blood anywhere? There was.
There was blood all over. But
Trickling out of her nose, and then some on her the top part of her dress.
right now, the blood trickling out of her nose could have been like post mortem and stuff like that. But there was blood in the car. Yeah, there was. But you know, here's the thing. You know, you got the fixers there, and they got to fix and cover up this. They didn't want another Hollywood scandal to go on. You know, I mean, in the 30s, you know, it's not like today where like, oh, so and so does drugs, so and so died, so and so was beaten up or whatever, or you know, like some rapper was shot. I mean, back then, if something like that happened, oh my God, it was the end of the world. Okay, and they just did not want like another scandal, and so they're like, no, we got to fix this, and so they fixed it all right.
Uh huh.
They just cleaned up the version and cleaned up her. When they were in the garage, they cleaned her off. And then when the photographers came, she had this clean face and all this other kind of stuff when they took their pictures with her dead.
Yeah.
I mean, who sits next to a dead body and takes pictures with it? I just can't with that. That's just, ugh. That's just gross. And so, you know, it says here that Todd was clearly beaten to death and placed in the car. The DA probably knew that as well as the police and the coroners, and it probably would have just died off at all of that except for her mother.
Yes, her mother.
Her mother was mad. Her mother warned the DA, you know my daughter was murdered. I know my daughter was murdered. There better be an investigation, and that's the only reason why anything was kind of pseudo-investigated. All right. Otherwise, they would have said, carbon monoxide, end of the day, let's go home, folks. Nothing to see here. Right? Okay. So the mother got really mad, and she said, you know, either, you know, you do an investigation, or I'm going to do an investigation. Clearly, they would rather do it themselves so they can cover things up. So the DA did open like kind of a half-hearted investigation. The DA didn't really want to tangle with some of the mob connections that she had or anything like that, you know, so he tried to like skirt around this. Now, one problem I should say for the official version was that when they did a minor autopsy, there was a little note in there, and it kind of threw everything into a frenzy. There were traces of recently eaten peas and carrots in her stomach, but neither were served at the dinner party she was at Saturday night, which was supposedly, according to the police, her last meal. Todd's peas and carrots were eaten within 6 hours of her death on Sunday night. So the entire version that the police were putting out kind of crumbled underneath the vegetables, and people were saying, well, where was Thelma on Sunday then? I mean, she must have eaten something on Sunday. The peas and carrots got in her stomach within 6 hours of her dying.
Yep.
And they weren't served at the dinner party. But even then, I mean, she wasn't in rigor mortis when they discovered her, so she couldn't have died when the cops said anyway. the whole thing is just like, if they had social media back then, let me tell you, they would have been picking that stuff apart.
Oh yeah. Oh no shit.
But they didn't have social media back then, so people read things in newspapers like, "Oh, okay, the police said that, so it must be."
Right. And then they
But
had,
people, yeah, go ahead.
and then, well, you have to think about it. A lot of the newspapers were influenced by the studios. So
Yes,
they're
yes,
only
yes.
going to report basically what the studios want out.
That's right.
That's
Studios had a lot of power back then. A lot of power. A lot of power. So people started asking then, well, where was she on Sunday? Because, I mean, something must have gone on that, like, she was somewhere on Sunday and everything like that. But yeah, so that was very strange. And I should probably explain maybe like her relationship with Lucky Luciano. Do you want me to go into that?
with who? With
Lucky Luciano.
Okay. Here's the other thing. I mean, she was married, what, 32 to 1934
Mm-hmm.
to someone who was a close associate with Lucky Luciano.
Right. And so for people who don't know, Lucky Luciano is a very high-ranking mobster in the New York
Yeah.
mob. Mm-hmm. Very high-ranking.
But
Okay.
and
Go ahead.
she left her husband because he kept like taking off all the time and leaving her, and then
And also he beat her.
beat her all the time. So she
Mm-hmm.
basically was granted a divorce, what, in 1934. But
Yep.
they had split before then, but it was a very short marriage. But go ahead, Blues.
Okay. So I'm going to continue with the book because they really say the best. And the author here says, I believe that Luciano did order Todd's death. She was murdered because she knew too much about his involvement in the movie industry bribes. Now, at that time, there were bribes going on in the movie industry, and that mobsters would like come in there and they would tell like movie directors, hey, if you don't want to have any union problems with your movies, you're going to pay me some money.
Hmm.
And they would do it because they didn't want to have any problems, and the mobsters were making like a boatload of money off of this. Okay. So she was far more dangerous to Luciano as a federal witness because Luciano had talked to her about his problems with like people involved with these bribes and stuff like that, and she knew a little bit about it and everything, and this was like they started thinking, oh, she might be a problem because she knows like some stuff about this. That's what the author is getting at here.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I'm just gonna skip through like some really fine details here, but so I'm gonna get down to
Basically, Luciano was fighting for power.
yeah. See, at the time that this was going on, both Luciano in New York and Frank Nitti in Chicago, they both Chicago wanted to come in. They wanted a piece of this like lucrative. Hey, we can get money from movies too, and they were both trying to get in there. And who knows what happened there, but she knew all about it because Luciano, she had a few rendezvous with Luciano, and he told her about some of the stuff going on, and then maybe the next day he realized, oh dang, I told that broad about that last night, and
Yeah.
she knew about a lot of that stuff, right? And but the thing that probably sealed it off for her was that she had contacted the DA's office on December 11th, and she made an appointment for Thursday, December 17th at 11 a.m. Now, nobody knows why she called. This is before she died. Nobody knows why she called the DA or why she wanted to go into the DA, but she made an appointment for the DA, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you know anything about mobsters, they
Yeah.
have like moles and everything in like all those offices.
And I imagine even her, let's guess. I mean, I'm just speculating here. They also have people like her driver watching
Hmm.
her, so they're going to know her movements.
Right, right. And so as soon as she made that appointment, Luciano and probably like Frank Nitti in Chicago would have found out immediately through their moles in the DA's
Hmm.
office, you know. So on Friday, December 13th, just after Todd made her appointment, Luciano boarded a plane in New York and flew to LA for an unannounced visit. Okay. Both
Uh-huh.
Luciano and Nitti stood to lose if Todd told the government what she knew about the mob's dealings with the unions. But nobody knows right now why Todd was going to meet with the DA. I mean, Todd was certainly smart enough to know that talking about Luciano would mean her death. But she had been receiving a lot of death threats and ransom demands and things like that. So, I mean, maybe she wanted to talk about that. But the real why she called him is a mystery. Okay. Now, her ex-husband that Ginger was talking about, Pat
Hmm.
Chico, his actions that weekend were kind of strange too. After their divorce, he rarely came to LA, but for reasons never revealed, he showed up at her cafe the Wednesday before her death, and he also showed up uninvited at the dinner party she attended on the
Hmm.
last night.
Yep.
He was fidgeting around nervously through the dinner. He
Hmm.
excused himself from the table and made a phone call. He returned to the party and he didn't say goodnight to any of the guests, and then he left. So was he watching her? Did he call and say, "Hey, she's leaving"? I mean, nobody knows.
Hmm.
But Thelma got her private life intermingled with the underworld, and somewhere in that murky world may lie the solution to her murder, because she inadvertently found out that the mob was bribing all these people, and she knew about that stuff. And she could have maybe just called the DA because she had been getting some death threats or some cranks on the phone or something like that. But as soon as like the moles in the office found out, oh my God, Thelma called the DA. Oh crap! They're
Right.
thinking that she's gonna blow the whistle, right? And
Exactly.
so this is what the author in this book is getting at, that they really feel that like maybe the mob had something to do with it, but nobody knows. I mean,
Right.
who knows anything? So then here comes the weird part about Sunday. All right.
Yep.
Now, according to the police, she's supposed to be dead on Sunday. Do you want to say something?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, you want to say something or no?
No, I mean, yeah, I'm
Oh,
with you
okay.
on that. That she
Yeah.
was supposedly dead by Sunday, but
Okay. Yeah.
all these sightings of her on Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and I just want to say something, that if she was supposed to be already like dead on Sunday and they find her Monday morning and she's not even stiff. I mean, like these
Hmm.
people, nobody asks questions. That's why I say, like, if social media had been back then,
Yeah.
oh my God,
No,
they
we're
would.
no, we're too busy taking shots of ourselves with her body. You
Yeah,
know.
right, exactly. And trampling the crime scene. Okay, so on Sunday, I'll talk a little bit about Sunday.
Go ahead.
All right. Activities by Todd on Sunday, after the time the police said she had died,
Right.
were revealed during this otherwise
So
pointless grand
so hold
jury.
on. So hold on. She's pulling a weekends at Bernie's.
Yeah, that's right. Thelma Todd was doing a weekend at Bernie's. That's right, exactly. Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, I'll tell you about a few of those witnesses because it's kind of interesting. First, we have a guy that owns a cigar shop in downtown LA. And he was shocked when a crying blonde in a mink coat stumbled into a store Sunday morning and asked to use the phone. One of his customers recognized Todd because everybody did.
Hmm.
And the two men watched her leave in a brown convertible with an olive-skinned man. Okay. Now, I should say that both Luciano and Todd drove like the same kind of car.
Yeah.
So, okay. And then around 4 p.m., several people saw Todd at a drugstore at Sunset in Laurel Canyon in Hollywood making another phone call. That call was to Martha Ford, wife of actor Wallace Ford, who testified that Todd called her at 4 p.m. Sunday to confirm she would be at her party that night. Okay, so that call was actually verified. The person on the other end said, "Oh yeah, Thelma called me at 4." So here we have this woman that said, Thelma called me on Sunday at 4," and everyone's like, shut up, lady.
Yeah, right?
Get in the corner and shut up. You're ruining our narrative, okay? And they
Right?
swept that under the rug, okay?
Mhm.
All right, so next we have a Santa Monica councilman who testified that he and his family were shocked to see Thelma Todd in a brown convertible next to them at a Beverly Hills stoplight on Sunday afternoon. And then in a final bizarre coincidence, Jewel Carmen herself testified that she saw Todd and Luciano in the brown convertible Sunday afternoon on Sunset Boulevard heading west toward the beach.
Notice
So-
that that's that's the wife of her boyfriend.
That's the wife of her boyfriend. Now, the only thing that makes me think something questionable about that is like, I don't, or Joel Carmen's stupid, but I wouldn't have said that like Todd was with Luciano. He's gonna like name Lucky Luciano to be with her.
Yeah.
I mean,
Why in the hell would you implicate Luciano?
Yeah,
And that, yeah, that's like,
olive skinned man, okay, but Luciano,
yeah.
okay.
And then also at that time they were saying that FBI had eyes on him in Kansas.
Right.
So
Right. I
So-
don't know.
so go on.
Well, I was going to say about the bartender. So then the last witness, which was a very good one, Bob Anderson, a bartender at the cafe, and he was also a mechanic who took care of the cars for Todd and West and Carmen.
Hmm.
He accidentally solved the riddle of the brown car when he testified. He was called simply to confirm that Todd was gone all day on Sunday. But he said that Todd's car was empty and backed into the garage when he checked the garage for West early Sunday afternoon. But when Todd's body was found, the car was parked facing front in the garage, so it was driven on Sunday.
Hmm.
So in other words, when he saw the headlights were facing the back of the garage. But when Thelma was found in the car, the headlights were facing the garage door. So it was moved or driven around sometime on Sunday. So it's clear there's like a lot of fishy stuff, but all the people that testified about Sunday, they just all said they were cranks and stupid and they were mistaken. It wasn't really Thelma or something like that. And they swept that under the rug. They talked off all of her injuries and stuff like that. And they just said, hey, look, she passed out carbon monoxide poisoning. End of the day, go home, kids. And since there was nothing like social media, there was nothing like even TV and investigative reports or anything like that. There was only newspapers, which, as Ginger pointed out, were largely controlled by the studios putting out the stories. There was no question. And so the newspapers are writing stories like, yeah, it was just carbon monoxide poison. They're like, oh, poor Thelma. Okay, well, that's the end of that story. And nobody really asked a lot of questions, and that was that. You know, even though she had peas and carrots in her stomach and none were served, you know, even though she had clean bottoms of her shoes, okay, maybe she took them off, but that would be kind of stupid when it's cold out. There's just too many questions, right? But nobody asked, or if they asked the questions, they were told to shut up.
Oh yeah. And then and this is the funny part, okay, guys? Later on, wasn't it years later that Roland, her boyfriend, Roland West, confessed, supposedly?
Yes. Then years later, Roland West confessed. So then that was another, like...
Debacle.
Another debacle, yeah. So years later, Roland West was very good friends with, I want to get down to
Chester?
With Chester Morris, the guy who was in that serious role with her in My Little Film.
Kosar, yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm going to get to that. Let me get here. So basically on Roland West's deathbed, he confessed to Chester Morris that he had killed Thelma Todd. Right? He just said he did it. You know, and that was like really strange, and Chester Morris told a couple of people that, and so that was a weird thing, but I'm trying to get to the point. So Ginger, talk for a second till I find that point.
Yeah. Okay. Basically, during the inquiry or whatever, his testimony, Roland West's testimony was he didn't hear her knocking on the door.
Right.
That he couldn't hear her, the front door, from the bedroom he slept in. And the sounds of the ocean, remember that? Supposedly were so loud that night that he was unable to hear anything. And
Right.
they just wrote that off. They wrote that off like, oh, it's possible. It's possible.
Right. Right. Well, anything to cover it up, because that's definitely one where they didn't want the truth to come out.
And well, yeah, anything to cover it up. And then, so speculating here, is it a possibility? Yes, it is a high possibility that he could have done that.
Right.
He could have done it, or did he confess because he felt guilty for not answering the door?
Right.
Oh, I love that Welsh. Bullocks.
Right. And one thing I'm going to say is that there was no robbery or anything involved either, because when Thelma was found with like $20,000 worth of jewelry, so no one was trying to rob her.
Right. That would have been, if you're covering something up nowadays, that would be the first thing that they would do. They would just take all that.
All right.
Is who an actor, Welsh? Chester
Morris was an actor, yeah.
Yep. Wow. Let's see. Anybody have questions while we're... I love the little kissy mark. I don't trust any actors. They do anything to get in the know. The one who couldn't hear her was Roland West. He was a director. He was a film director who actually, I think he stepped away from that. He was basically retired from directing at that point. And her partner in the business. I guess the way that their apartment was set up is there was like a door in between her living quarters and his.
Yes, that's right.
So that, there was no question, morality-wise or whatever.
Right.
Hold on a second. I think I got somebody being picked up.
Okay, yeah, on Roland West's deathbed, this is basically the story he told. He said that Todd returned home at almost 4 a.m. She declined her chauffeur's offer to walk her upstairs because she knew there would be a scene with West. When she found the door locked, she shouted at him, and they had an argument through the door. West told her that he didn't want her going to so many parties, and Todd, still a bit drunk, screamed she'd go to any party she pleased. She was invited to one later that Sunday night, and maybe she'd just go to the party now. According to West, then she climbed the steps to the garage, and he followed. When he arrived, she was already in her car. She had started the engine, and he ran around and locked the garage door. He wasn't thinking about carbon monoxide, just about teaching her a lesson about who was boss. So he left and went back to bed, and then at daylight he returned to the garage to find Todd's body. He didn't know what to do, so he didn't do anything. He closed the door but didn't lock it and went back to the cafe and waited for the maid to find her on Monday. Okay, that was his deathbed confession. Now, if it's true or not, who really knows? But it sounds a little wacky to me.
Yeah, and the other thing is we only have basically one guy telling that.
Right. He's the only one that tells that story. He said it on his deathbed. But he had said it a little earlier, too, because he told Hal Roach that story, too.
Oh, that's...
Hal Roach had repeated that story. But that's the only versions of that story. Now, I mean, could that be a scaled down version of what happened? Could he be had been involved in maybe like her ultimate demise when she was like if she's beaten up or something? I mean, could he have watched it, witnessed it, been around something? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're like, we got to think of a story here or whatever, and he thought it up and stuck to it. I don't know. But the things that bother me the most about Thelma's death, the number one thing is the peas and the carrots in her stomach. I
Yes.
mean, where did she get peas and carrots to eat when it wasn't served? Okay, she got them from somewhere to eat. All right, and that's
Exactly.
found. Okay, she wasn't in rigor mortis on Monday morning.
Right?
So how was she killed like at like 2 a.m. on Sunday when she's not in rigor mortis? Okay, how
Yeah.
did she get broken ribs and things like that? You know, I mean, you just don't get broken ribs from passing out in your car from carbon monoxide poisoning.
That
These
was one.
things don't add up.
That was one of the police investigator said, "Oh yeah, she probably hit the steering wheel." Well, the
Yeah,
thing
with
is,
her ribs, yeah, I'm sure.
she hit
Yeah,
the
right.
steering wheel with the ribs. She hit the
Her
steering wheel with
nose with the ribs. I mean, everything I guess
her
hit the
nose.
steering
Her
wheel. You know.
chip, chipped a tooth that we never found.
Yeah, it's just crazy, you know. So I mean, so those are the things that really bother me: is how did she get her injuries? How did the peas and carrots get in her stomach? And why did so many independent people? I mean, I'm not talking about these not just actors or actresses, but shop owners and all these other people. How did they see her on Sunday? So all those factors bother me about her death.
Right. None of it makes sense. And also, even with the following her up the stairs, if Roland did do that, hello, we've already said there's no way that she went up all those stairs in heels. Hold on.
Well, see, that's just the thing. If he's following and running after her while going up the stairs and she's wearing heels and he's not, and I mean, wouldn't you think he'd catch up to her or something? I mean, the story like seems like contrived. And then he says, well, I closed the garage door and locked it to teach her a lesson. But he didn't think about carbon monoxide poisoning. Is he really that dense that he doesn't know that, like, in a closed area with a running car, you know, that, like, that's going to happen? I mean, it's just, I don't know. Anyway, so that's why so many people for so many years have talked about Thelma Todd's death because they're just like, well, I don't know. How'd she get these injuries? I don't know how that food get in her stomach, you know? And she was still wearing the same clothes from Saturday night when she was found, you know? So she never had any time to change clothes or anything. Or the whole thing was weird, you know? And strange. And so it's just one of those things that people still talk about. I guess like Marilyn Monroe's death, you know, like did she really do this or whatever, or she killed him? I don't know. And Thelma Todd's death is handled the same way. People are still thinking today, like, you know, well, was she killed? How'd she get these injuries or whatever, you know? And it's just very mysterious. But I find it very sad because she was so talented and she really paved the way for a lot of things, but you know, she ran fast and she ran fast with the wrong people and she heard the wrong information and maybe that, and then calling the DA maybe for a perfectly innocent reason, but they heard about it. You know, all these little tiny factors may have played into, you know, her demise, but it's unknown and it's one of those things that people still talk about in Hollywood today, you
Yep.
know.
Exactly. I mean, they talk about that. They talk about the Peg Entwistle. They talk about um, oh, good gravy. I'll tell you what.
Marilyn,
George Reeves.
George Reeves, yeah. I mean, so
Oh,
there's a lot of these old Hollywood things. And the reason why is because they were always covering them up. You know, it's not like today where, like, you know, people die of drugs or something. They say, oh, yeah, okay, they died of drugs. I mean, back then, when, like, these kinds of things happened, it was like a
well,
wow factor, you know?
what's funny is some of the same names pop up in the George Reeves case. So
Yeah, they do, actually. You know, I mean, all these people are intertwined. They're the Hollywood people. I don't know, just it's very odd. But anyway, that's basically Thelma.
hmm So what do y'all think? Don't everyone talk at once because
Yeah. Now that we like
right?
that we lost him with our technical difficulties. I know we did.
Right? Everybody's like, uh, what? They're all in their little side chat talking about whatever, and they're like, oh, we had no idea what you're talking about.
Our Ginger and Blues are off talking about something.
No joke.
I think that the mafia end is very plausible.
Mhm.
That's how they operate. You know, they get rid of people who know stuff.
Well, I think it makes sense that maybe, I mean, in my opinion, it's let's implicate Luciano, right, with all these witnesses and stuff, because he was close to her, right?
Right. He was close to her. Yeah.
And what way to send a message to him?
Well, yeah. See, it's also possible that the rival Chicago mob had her killed in order to send a message to Luciano too. I mean, there's just so many possibilities of what happened to her, and we're never going to know because the scene was trampled over 100 times, and there's no forensics. So, you know, it's just one of those things that we're never going to know what happened to her,
Oh
unfortunately.
wait, well, what case covered the story of same era? Okay, which case, darling? Because we probably have it in mind. Because if it's a curious case from then, Blues and I have probably talked about it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
We can't answer you for 10 seconds. Yeah, we're on a relay. Yeah, 10-second relay or delay relay.
Oh, okay.
You want a community tab, Bones? I know. I was lucky. I just popped on and I'm like, I mean, I was on my phone and this popped up and said, "Oh, you have a community tab," and I'm like, "What? I'm not at 500. How'd that happen?"
You keep talking, Ginger. I'll be back.
Okay.
Oh
I
God.
heard
So,
there's a couple ways to get it. There's a couple of ways to get it, Bones. Um, if you look it up, there's ways to get it under
I feel totally sick. I'm gonna
500.
throw
I
up.
think it's like some type of authentication process, and you can have
Yeah, I
it.
know, but like all these people are like really interested and they're asking us questions.
I want a community tab. Mm. Y'all, Bones does have a good channel. She does a lot of UK stuff. I don't know why. Like, nobody wants to watch UK. No, I'm just kidding. But she covers a lot of true crime that's happening over in the UK. I think by her husband during the 40s. An actress that was murdered at her home, I think by her husband during the 40s. Um, hmm. Well, I'm trying to think. Okay, Peggy Entwistle wasn't married, and she killed herself in 32, right? I was going to cover Jean Harlow one of these days, but she didn't really have too mysterious of a death, did she? But she still lived a scandalous life. I mean, that's, scandals.
Scandals, oh my.
Right?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna have to hop down. I'm not feeling too good right now. I'm kind of dizzy.
Thank you so much.
Can I leave you for the rest of this? Because I'm just not feeling too good right now.
No. Thank you for your time, Blues. You did a hell of a job. Thank you, girl.
No, I enjoyed it, and if I felt better and I hadn't just like been discharged from the hospital, I would
Oh,
love to
yep.
sit there and yak. But
Yeah.
I'm feeling really like kind of
You
ill
should.
right now.
Yep. Thank you so much, sweetie.
You're welcome, Ginger. I'll be yakking at you, okay, girl?
Okay.
Enjoy the rest of your life.
Thanks, honey.
Uh huh. Bye.
Uh, phenomenal, huh? That's the stuff that her and I talk about. Any questions, anybody? Anybody? So I might just go ahead and end this and feed my family. Yes, y'all. Blues is fresh out of the hospital. She's only been out for a day, or I think a day or two. But yeah, this is the kind of stuff we enjoy talking about. Um, if you guys have any suggestions of cases that you want us to dig into on this channel, um, my email is in the About section. Case of the woman that died in a car crash. Well, Grace Kelly, she died in a car crash. Let's see. Jane Mansfield, she died in a car crash. And her daughter is an actress, Marissa Haggerty, or Mariska Haggerty. Yeah, go feed my minions. Larry, thanks. I mean, Blues nailed that one. Blues nailed this. Thank you all for coming. Yeah, Jane Mansfield. I think that was in the 60s when she crashed. And I think two of her three kids were in the car. I could be wrong. Let's see. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. Yeah, I want to thank everybody for coming. Like I said, if you have any like things you want to see, trust me, when we get into the George Reeves case, you guys are gonna really like that one. That George Reeves was Superman in the 50s, um, in the TV series. Uh, then then we have Bob Crane. We're going to talk about Bob Crane's death in the 70s, but he was famous for Hogan's Heroes. Uh, that was an interesting case, so we're going to get into all of those. It has been awesome seeing y'all. Um, thanks for coming, and catch you on the flip side.